So if you're new to this hobby, then you don't know that displaying these things is a bitch. And it's not because of how much room it takes up, it's because of how much room the boxes take up.
Come on, don't bullshit me.
Yes, there are boxes for this that you have to keep, and they take up more room than the statues. And I know you're thinking, that's really dumb. Well, you know what's even dumber? Paying to store those empty boxes. Oh, I do it. Hey, my name is Mr. X. Welcome to the Extreme Channel. We are giving away $1,000 statues to you guys. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Hey, welcome to the Extreme Channel. We have done a number of segments on boxes. What do you do with the boxes? It all started with a video I did years and years ago on how do I store my boxes, what's a smart way to do it. And ironically, in that video I said, if you pay for a storage unit, you're stupid. Well, if you've been following the channel for a long time, you know that eventually I had to get some storage units. Here is a video right here where I actually moved a ton of boxes to a storage unit, I think hundreds, over 500 boxes. And then recently, I actually had to move storage units simply because they kept increasing the price. And I could move to an equivalent storage unit that was closer to my home that saved me a few $100s a month. So which is it? Is it smart to have a storage unit or not? Well, obviously I've changed my tune. Part of it was out of necessity because at one time I stored my hundreds and hundreds of boxes in a warehouse for free. And I no longer have that option. But is a storage unit really worth it? And I've done the math on this a few different times, and that's what we're going to go through today to figure out if a storage unit is worth it. Because really, there are two things that deem whether a storage unit is worth it or if you should just throw out the boxes. Now, before we dive into that, I want to make a disclaimer that if you have a free place to store your boxes, whether you have room in your home and your home doesn't look like a hoarder's house, maybe you own a business like I did and you could store them in the warehouse, maybe you have a buddy who has a shed, that's the smart way to do it. But if none of those are the options and you're looking at, I either throw out these boxes or I pay for a monthly storage unit, this is the video for you. Now the second disclaimer, at the end I'm going to tell you you should pay for a storage unit, but I'm going to tell you why. So there's two big factors, as I said. Before we get to those factors, I'm going to tell you one thing about collecting these high-end statues. Those statues you swore you wouldn't sell, that they're going to go to the grave with you, it's not true. Shit happens. Hopefully it's not bad shit as why you have to sell them. Maybe you move, maybe you divorce, maybe there's a death, maybe you die. I mean, let's face it, we're all waiting for the sweet release of death. But I remember this statue right here was actually on a video of statues I would never sell. It's one of the most coveted, highly sought after statues in the game. And somebody offered me ridiculous amounts of money, almost 4 times what I paid for it, and I paid over $2,000. So I said, yep, let's do that. So again, never discount the fact that you might sell a statue. Now, if you're new to the game, when you sell a statue, if you're shipping it, you want the original packaging because these things are very delicate and they break easy. Sometimes they even break in the original packaging. So if you have a statue worth $2,000, it may lose half or more of its value depending on how broken it is. Remember this video I did right here of my most broken statues? So you want to keep the boxes. I don't think that's up for argument. Anyone who throws away the boxes, you are really testing fate. I want to let you know that. Now maybe 1 or 2 boxes isn't a big deal, but if you have statues on a mass scale more than 10, throwing away the boxes is a huge risk and very dangerous. Now, it's still your risk to take, but one day you might be kicking yourself. So with that, the first thing you need to calculate. Let's say that I throw away these boxes and then I have to sell the statue for whatever reason. Well, you're faced with 2 issues. Number 1 is automatically the value of the statue is lower because the original packaging is gone. That's just kind of the game. While there's not a set number in my head, if I'm going to buy a statue without the original packaging, I want at least 20% off the going market rate, if not more. Then the second part of it is you have to custom pack these statues. And as I said, they are very delicate. The first 10 statues I put in custom packaging, I want to say 7 of them broke in transit. Some were big breaks, some were small breaks. Now eventually Mrs. X became very good. And while it's not 100%, now it's about 3 out of 10 instead of 7 out of 10 that break. And again, it varies whether it's a huge break or a small break. Now once the receiver gets that statue, if it's broken, you're going to either have to fully refund them and pay to ship it back to you, and then it's worth less money, or hope they take some sort of reasonable compensation. Now keep in mind, this is after you discounted it because it didn't have the original packaging. So in my head, if you are going to throw away a box, immediately, on average, you want to say that I'm probably going to lose 25 to 50% of the value of this statue by throwing away that box. Are you willing to do that? That's the first thing I wanted to talk about, and you have to figure out if it's worth it to have a storage unit. So if you have 20 statues and you're going to throw away the boxes and the average statue is $1,000, potentially throwing away $5,000 to $10,000 worth of value on those statues, which depending on your storage unit, that could be anywhere from 5 to 20 years worth of paying for a storage unit. Now the second part of this equation. I know it's hard to believe because the White House tweets every day how great the economy is right now in 2024. It's not. It's really bad. So right now the resale value for statues is not the best. For most collectibles it's not. This includes comics and many other things. So right now, if you sell a statue, even brand new, it's hard to get the retail price sometimes. So what if you have a used statue? What if it has a slight break? What if it doesn't have the original packaging? Then you're really screwed. So let's go back to my original equation. Let's say you have a statue worth $1,000. You throw away the packaging, you're going to lose anywhere from $250 to $500 on it. It's a big loss. But what if you bought it for $1,000 and now the retail value or the going market value is $800 or $600? Shit, some of my statues I've put up for sale with the original packaging, half of the retail cost, and they still won't sell. Let's just say, for sake of argument, let's say you have 20 statues and the going retail value is 25% lower than what you paid for them on average. So those $20,000 worth of statues are only worth $15,000. Now I'm not talking about throwing away the boxes, the previous equation we did. If you try and sell all 20 statues today, you will lose $5,000 from what you paid. You know what? The economy goes up and down. It might get better. It'll eventually get better. When will it get better? I have no fucking idea. But in 1 year, those statues could be worth $19,000 instead of the $15,000 now. And if your storage unit is $200 a month, you just saved money by keeping them in storage to sell at a later time. Not to mention the first equation with keeping the boxes. And that is my case for why a storage unit is worth it. Truth be told, I was selling 10 statues a month on average. Some of them wouldn't sell when I'm taking anywhere from a $500 to $1,000 plus loss. Well, if I sell a statue right now and I take a $1,000 loss on it, that's 2 months worth of storage unit where, you know what, in 12 months from now, it may be worth that again. So I would say, knowing that despite, I don't know how it's happening. Somehow the White House is just confused because they wouldn't lie to us. So I would say, because the economy is bad, that just strengthens the case that a storage unit is definitely worth it at this time in history. Do you disagree with me? Can you find flaws in my logic? If so, I'd love to hear them. Throw them down in the comments below. If you're right and I'm wrong, I'll just delete your comment.
As we try to grow this channel, we like to reward you guys for watching and subscribing. So because of that, every 5,000 milestone when it comes to subscribers, we give away a couple $1,000s worth of statues. We've actually given away over 20 statues. To win one was easy. First, you gotta be subscribed to the channel. You'll get bell notifications when videos drop. Each video that drops, you wanna make a comment on those videos. We pick a random video, we give away statues based on a comment. You can say whatever you want. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win.
Hey, thank you so much for tuning in. The only comments I delete are cowardly keyboard warriors that talk about my wife. Because I just find out their real name and visit their home. That's not true. They don't have homes.